6,000 years, or maybe millions. Two stories, one question, and both cannot be true at the same time. Scientists don't guess, they dig, layer by layer, into the Earth's deepest memory, rocks, fossils, bones, buried in a world no human has ever witnessed. They say the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and humans appeared far later in a silent chapter of time. But there is something they openly admit. No one was there, no witness, only evidence interpreted across time. And then there is the other claim, not built on discovery, but on revelation, a moment where nothing existed, and then be. And it was. So now the question is no longer simple. Is humanity the result of a slow unfolding accident of time, or a direct act of creation with intention behind it? Science follows what can be measured. Faith follows what was revealed. Two paths, two worldviews, pulling reality in opposite directions, or maybe not as far apart as they seem. Because buried between these two narratives is a question most people never stop long enough to ask. What if the beginning of humanity was never fully captured by either side alone? What if the truth is not missing, but simply incomplete in our understanding? Across every ancient tradition, across every historical trace, one name appears again and again: Adam. Not just a story, but the first human memory of existence, the beginning of everything we are. The age of humanity, what do we really know?
Secrets refuse to stay buried. Welcome to the Deep Chronicles.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
How old is the world, really? Not what we believe, but what we actually know. For thousands of years, this question has refused to disappear. When did everything begin? When did the first human open their eyes to existence? Modern science gives an answer. But it is not a memory, it is a reconstruction. Scientists dig into the earth, layer by layer, deeper and deeper, into time no human has ever witnessed. Rocks, fossils, ancient bones, silent remains of a world that does not speak back. And from this evidence, they conclude the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, and modern humans appeared roughly 200,000 years ago. Carbon dating, rock stratification, fossil correlation, methods built to read the past without ever seeing it. But here is the silence inside that certainty. No human was there, no observer, no recorded beginning, only interpretation of what remains. And that creates a question science cannot escape. If no one witnessed the beginning, how absolute can any conclusion really be? But for billions of people, another source exists, not measurement, but revelation. And according to the Quran, the story of humanity begins not with time, but with a command, the creation of the first human. The Quran declares, He created him from dust. Then he said to him, Be. And he was. Simple, direct, absolute. No process described, no timeline given, only intention and existence. Authentic narrations also describe the beginning of humanity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said,
خلق الله آدم على صورته وطوله 60 ذراعا.
Sahih al-Bukhari. Allah created Adam in his form, and his height was 60 cubits. This is not just description, it is a signal of a different origin than what modern imagination expects. Classical historians later tried to trace human history by connecting generations between prophets and preserved narratives across centuries. But when these timelines were aligned, something unexpected appeared. Human history compressed far shorter than assumed, not infinite expansion, but a structured beginning. And that raises a deeper problem. If history can be traced even partially, then what else have we not yet connected? Because the most important part of this timeline is still ahead. Could the prophets themselves hold the answer to humanity's timeline? Not speculation, but a pattern hidden inside history. The Quran does not give a number. It gives something deeper. A beginning. The creation of the first human. The Quran declares,
إن مثل عيسى عند الله كمثل آدم خلقه من تراب ثم قال له كن فيكون.
Indeed, the example of Jesus before Allah is like that of Adam. He created him from dust, then said to him, "Be," and he was. A single command, no process, only creation, in an instant. And from that moment, history begins to move through generations. Then comes a narration. Between Adam and Noah, there were 10 generations, all upon truth. 10 generations, a small detail with massive implications. Because now, history is not infinite chaos, it has structure. And scholars try to trace that structure. Historians like Ibn Kathir studied preserved reports, genealogies, and traditions carried across centuries, not guessing, but reconstructing what remained. And when these fragments were aligned, a timeline began to appear, from Adam to Noah.
Approximately 1200 years. Then from Noah to Abraham, around 1042 years. From Abraham to Moses, about 565 years. From Moses to David, roughly 572 years. From David to Jesus, known in Islam as Isa, around 1356 years. And from Isa to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, approximately 600 years. Step by step, generation after generation, a continuous chain. And when all of these intervals are combined,
they form a human timeline of nearly 5,000 years. But the calculation does not end there, because another detail enters the picture. According to narrations, Prophet Adam himself lived for about 960 years. Add that lifespan, and the total begins to approach a number that appears again and again in early discussions, nearly 6,000 years. But here is where everything changes. These are not absolute declarations. They are reconstructions, human attempts to map what was never fully recorded. And that raises a deeper question. If this is only what we can piece together, then what lies beyond it? What part of human history remains completely unseen? And that raises a deeper question. If history itself is incomplete, then what does Revelation actually say? Does the Quran reveal a timeline or something far more unexpected? The Quran speaks about creation, but it does not give a number, no years, no exact timeline. Instead, it redirects our focus away from mere dates towards the creator of time itself. The Quran declares,
Allahu khaliqu kulli shay.
Allah is the creator of all things. A statement so simple, yet it holds the entire universe within it. Everything begins with Him, and everything returns to Him. Then comes a reminder of human limitation.
وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا.
You have been given of knowledge, only a little, no matter how advanced we become. No matter how deep we dig, what we know is still just a drop in the ocean. Even the Prophet, peace be upon him, was instructed to pray,
وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا.
My Lord, increase me in knowledge, a prayer of humility, a journey of discovery, a lifetime of seeking. Because true knowledge will always be beyond our grasp. Science reveals fragments, history preserves shadows, but the complete truth remains hidden. And in that mystery, certainty fades. But something else emerges. Perspective. The greatest scholars spoke with humility because they understood that the beginning of creation is shrouded in silence. And that silence is not an end, it is a beginning. A place where questions turn into answers, and answers turn into new questions. So, the most important part of this story is not how much we know, it is how we respond to the truth we are given. Because what comes next will change everything. And when the search for answers reaches its limit, something unexpected happens. The question changes, not about the past anymore, but about us. But does the exact age of the world really change our purpose? 6,000 years, or millions more. Either way, one truth remains unchanged. We are not endless. We begin, and we end. The Quran brings this reality into focus.
كل نفس ذائقة الموت.
Every soul will taste death. Not a possibility, not a theory, an absolute certainty. No one escapes it, no one delays it, no one avoids it. Then comes what follows death, accountability. The Quran declares,
فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره.
so whoever does even the smallest good will see it, and whoever does even the smallest evil will see it. Nothing ignored, nothing erased, nothing forgotten. Every moment recorded beyond time. Then comes a deeper warning. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The feet of a human will not move on the day of judgment until he is asked about his life, how he lived it, his youth, how he used it, his wealth, how he earned and spent it, and his knowledge, what he did with it." A moment of complete accountability. No distractions, no excuses, only truth. And suddenly everything becomes clear. Because in that moment, no one will be asked how old the earth was or how the world began. Those questions will disappear. What will remain is you, how you lived, how you treated others, what you chose when it truly mattered. Because life is not just time passing. It is a test, unfolding in silence, a journey, moving steadily toward its end. And what comes after this life is not uncertainty, it is reality. So the question is no longer about history, the question is, are we prepared for what comes next? And after all the questions, after all the searching, one truth remains. The age of the world may remain a mystery. Science will continue to search. History will continue to investigate. But one truth will never change. The Quran declares,
وما خلقنا السماء والأرض وما بينهما لاعبين.
"We did not create the heavens and the earth, and everything between them, without purpose. Nothing is random, nothing is meaningless, nothing is without intention, every moment carrying purpose beyond what we see." Then the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reminds us of our place in this world. Be in this world as though you were a traveler, Sahih al-Bukhari. A traveler, not a permanent resident, passing through, not staying forever. And suddenly, everything becomes clear. Humanity was never meant to remain here forever. Our story did not begin by chance. It began with a command that brought the first human into existence, Prophet Adam. And from that single beginning came every civilization, every nation, every human alive today. But in the end, the real question was never about the past, not how the world began, not how time unfolded. The real question is about now. What will we do with the time we have been given? Because one day, this moment will end, and only meaning will remain. If this journey made you reflect, then subscribe and continue exploring these deeper truths. Because the next story may not just change what you know, it may change who you become.